everyone, Ryan here, Ion Capital Solutions. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for tuning in. Today I'm here with one of our students, Shane. Shane, thanks so much for being with us today.
Hi.
So we're going to discuss Shane's experience here at Ion Capital Solutions. Now, Shane, you've been with us for quite some time now, right? When did you first start?
About a year ago.
About a year ago, that's right. And when did you, or what was your experience, your level of experience before coming to Ion?
I've been in sales for like 5 years, but I haven't done anything with loans or lending or anything.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough. So you had the sales aspect down as far as communicating with clients and kind of understanding how to play consultant, but the products were new to you. I'm sure our marketing methods were new to you, and just the overall lingo and language and terminology. But you've had success here. You funded several deals with us now, right?
Yeah, before this I had never done anything with like social media marketing or anything, and which now it's all I really do for funding deals. Um, all I ever really done was like cold calls or following up on leads. So, but here, yeah, I've funded a few deals. It's been definitely different learning how to do funding, which is something I was interested in. Years ago, I tried to do like business loans,
Mm.
uh, which I did a little bit of, but then it never really like took off. But this, focusing on like the real estate side, um, works out fairly well. I actually started doing it because I was really bored on the weekend,
Mhm.
and I knew I could get a hold of a lot of these guys on the weekend.
Right, right. I hear you absolutely. So I don't know if you guys can hear the cat in the background meowing, but thanks for sharing that, Shane. I appreciate that. And so, yeah, there are many people out there that actually have a sales background, regardless of what the product is, and they're familiar with cold calling. And many of us, right, and I certainly have made a lot of cold calls in my time, but having that lead list in front of you and cold calling every single day, and it's tedious, right? And people telling you, leave me alone, never call me again, right? I don't want to deal with it, and the constant follow up, and it's taxing. And so being able to go online and go to a place to where you know people have interest in what you're offering before you even communicate with them goes a long way, right? And sort of being able to have that conversation online without yet hopping on the phone kind of keeps it simple, right? And with the numbers game that we play in the copy and paste functionality, you can talk to a lot of people at once. Then the one that does want to talk to you, have a quick conversation, make sure the stars align before you do hop on the phone. And it's a warm conversation, right? We're offering quality products to that client. So it's again, a warm conversation, right? And we can determine whether or not, right, they're eligible for funding. Now you've done quite well with that, and you've used these marketing methods, and they've worked for you. So can you talk to us a little bit about the importance of not just marketing, but the organization of your leads and the qualification process and the things that we focus on and go over here at Ion, and how that process has helped you find success?
Yeah, so I focus on first off like where they're located, what states I know, like what lenders to use because there's different lenders you can use in different states, and then I focus on their qualifications and how much experience they have, what kind of deals they're doing. Do those fit the box that I'm really good at getting,
Right.
through underwriting? Because I don't want to focus on people who, for instance, I don't want to do commercial because I haven't done commercial, so I'm going to stick to the things that I know. So, like, if a commercial deal comes my way, it's got to be something that's basically already done before I even bother touching it.
Right.
'Cause I stick to like the box that I do well in. Because there's so much you can do in the space, but when you find the box that you really fit well in and you focus on it, it's a lot easier to find success and to do that in a way that doesn't use so much of your time. Because you can spend a lot of time with deals that um, aren't going to go anywhere. Like first value, hey, what's your credit look like? Get to the end of a call, it's 20 minutes long, and ask them their credit, and they've got a 550 credit score.
Right.
Wonderful.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's such a great point you make there, Shane. I think that you just described the plight of many, prospective business loan brokers, people trying to be successful in the loan brokering space. They're constantly chasing down business, and they're trying to work with different people, but they're not sure what product, or even if they're offering a product, they're not sure what the product actually does. They're not qualifying that client, so you end up having all these phone calls that don't really go anywhere. And it's just so important to understand yes, the product, but also your value as a consultant, right? And what you're bringing to the table aside from just the solution, but then understanding what they need to bring to the table, right? And whether or not this is a good fit and it makes sense. And so your approach of kind of focusing in on a niche to start and understand, okay, this is going to be my wheelhouse and I'm going to be familiar with my prospective target audience, right? And know how to make these deals work so that I can see conversion has helped you find success in the areas that you don't yet have much experience in. We have mentors here at Ion, right? That's the whole point of the mentorship program, somebody to step up and be whatever it is you yet aren't, right? Until you are. And so your approach is smart, and the way that you followed our system, you've gotten results. And that's important, right? For anybody watching who's kind of stuck in that no man's land of why isn't this working and why can't I figure it out, right? There's some insight into somebody who recently was in a position that you're in now and was able to work it out and understand the right process, right? So a little bit of helpful and encouraging information there, as well as some guidance. But I thank you, Shane. I appreciate that. And many people who watch these videos, Shane, they're interested. Does this program work? Is this for me? Am I going to get results? And one of the things that I share with people when I talk to them in these calls, when we have these discovery calls, is listen. Yes, it works, and yes, you can get results, but you have to bring something to the table too. You have to follow the system. You have to put in the time. We can lay the bricks to the yellow brick road. We can build the door. We can show you the door. But at the end of the day, you have to walk through the door. We'll walk through the door with you, literally. We hold our students by the hand, and you can attest to that, but you've got to put in the work. Talk to us a little bit about the work you put in and ultimately your part in this, and why that's been a major player in the results you've gotten.
Yeah. So the work that I put in, I organize my schedule around doing the things that I can't do while I'm on the phone, but while I'm actually actively talking to people. So like looking for emails and identifying people's. I do that during the hours where they're probably not active. So I'll do that like really early in the morning, like 7 a.m. Put together a list of these are the people I'm going to hit up on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Right. I'll go get these are the emails I'm going to go after now. Right. But those are during the hours where I'm not going to actively be touching and doing like prospecting touches, because they're not actively usually awake and active and looking for a sales call. Right. So, or a sales message on like Facebook. So right. I organize my day around that type of activity, right? When am I going to do this? When am I going to do the things that are more active? And then being more responsive during the day, because then I ensure that I have a pipeline the whole way through, because then I have this specific times set up for specific things, and then target. You target the right areas. You pick a few states that you do well in, and you understand how the funding is going to work for those lenders and the types of deals that you will understand well, so that you can prep the underwriting, right? So you don't want to put in a deal and then find out, oh, there's all these problems with the deal, right? Like I remember I had a guy that had fire damage, and the fire damage he had mentioned, and I didn't think about it because I was new. So we put this deal in, and the underwriters are like, hey man, you didn't tell us this had fire damage, and the whole deal almost fell apart, right?
Right.
So we actually the deal did fall apart because we lost that one. I thankfully got him back and he got his next house, but he just got frustrated and paid cash for it.
Right.
The frustration of doing the loan because of what I had done changed. But you gotta do the work and ensure that A, you're learning from each one of those mistakes, and B, that you're organizing your day and your time to be effective at this. Because you can do this for 20 hours a day and get poor results if you're doing poor work, or you can do this for 5 hours a day and get amazing results for doing the work in the right way that actually produces results. And that's part of something you learn over time.
Right. Thank you. That's spot on. I just agree so much. And I really think, again, many people watching this video, that's the problem they're having. They're in the space, but they're not getting results and they can't figure out why. And it all comes down to workflow, right? And so one of the things we try and do when we talk to prospective new students for the program is, what is your process? If you're active and you're not getting results, let's discuss your process. Let's understand where you're learning about this stuff and what your process is. And what we find is many people don't have a process. They either believe or have been convinced by somebody else that loan brokering is as simple as building a website, signing up with the lender, finding some interested parties through a paid ad or whatever, and just forwarding that information to the lender and waiting for the deal to fund so they can earn a commission. And if they're not earning a commission, they just need to reach out to more people in order to increase their chances of the deal funding and earning commission, that's not business loan brokering. There's a lot of blueprint programs out there that flat out don't work, and unfortunately, many people learn this the hard way. That's not how the business works, And so for anybody watching you, listening to Shane, you can see he understands there's a process to this. You have to work smart, not hard, right? You have to understand and follow the correct process. And if you do, and you're willing to open up yourself to being able to drop the ego and learn the process, go through a proper education process and partner yourself with experienced people and work with them and listen to them, you can get results. But it's on you. You can't just get a phone number and an email address and forward it to somebody and expect money to magically appear out of thin air. And I know, right, Shane, that was never you, but there are people that have that mindset, And so it's important to home in and highlight that point. And so thank you for that information. Greatly.
And what's interesting with it too is like the number of people that you will meet that will come to you and say, I've got $25,000 cash and I'm ready to go buy this property. Well, they might actually be able to close because they can qualify for like 10% down. But then you find out by asking them the question, oh, this isn't your money. You got funding for this money and now you don't qualify for anything, right? So you actually have no money. Or even worse, they had negative money because they actually owe somebody else money, and they're very open about it. So you can talk to a lot of people, and if you don't, over time you learn like what to ask and what to look for. And if you're not doing that, you do waste a lot of time. But you gotta do a lot of calls and a lot of conversations to really figure out what those things are to ask, and leverage mentors and tell them like, hey, this is what I'm running into pretty consistently, and this is why I need to know to qualify faster, because they don't want to work with prospects that are not going to close, right? Right. The whole idea is finding somebody that's going to get through underwriting. Right. And I actually spoke with a lender yesterday who had told me, I had asked them like, how long is it going to take to get this deal through? And they flat out told me, well, it depends on a few things. It depends on how well the paperwork's done, so they don't have to go back and keep redoing it, which you have control over. It depends on how quickly we can get the appraisal done, which pretty much one of the few things we don't control. But we can tell our prospects, hey, you got to get in there. You got to make sure you schedule as fast as possible, and driver can see behind that. Right. And then the third thing is that when the lenders are looking at you, like if you're brand new and you don't know what you're doing, those contacts at the lender figure out real quick. And then what they told me was actually like, yeah, how fast you get processed also depends on what company you are, right? So if I come in and I'm just Joe Schmo off the road, like, yeah, he hasn't done any deals with us. We don't know him. We're not going to prioritize his deals. Mm-hmm. But if I'm pushing them 2 or 3 deals a month consistently, my AE over there says, hey, this guy makes me money. Right. So it's building that relationship between businesses as much as it is building relationships with investors, which is another business anyway. So it's always a whole bunch of B2B relationships.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a great point. That's a great point. People often tell me horror stories of, I sent the deal to a lender and they stole the deal from me. Or I sent my deal down a broker daisy chain and they stole the deal from me. And I'm upset. Why? And I always give them the same answer. It's because you can't do the math. It's nobody else's fault but your own, right? You lost control of your deal, and it's likely because you didn't understand your deal. So you needed to look elsewhere. And whoever you were dealing with didn't respect you. That's the truth, And so lenders respect one thing: volume, right? Mm-hmm. Shane just said there 2, 3 deals, but imagine 20, 30 deals, 50, 100 deals. That's where you're going to get the quick response because you have a high submission flow of deals. And if you don't, or if you have a pattern of sending bad data, like I don't want to, for instance, not that this is Shane, but using Shane as an example, if Shane sent a lot of bad deals to a lender and an email comes in from Shane, oh God, here's another email from Shane. I'm not even going to open this email because I know the deal's not going to qualify. There's many brokers out there. That's you. That's you because you don't know how to underwrite. You don't know how to qualify. You believe that that's the lender's job. That's not your job. It's funny, Shane, I got off a call, I think it was like a month ago, with a prospective student for the program. And they didn't agree with my approach, as they put it, and believe that, our job is not to underwrite and qualify. That's the lender's job. Our job is to just find interested parties and forward to the lender, which was totally ridiculous. I said, that is not, you are so wrong about that, and you're not going to make money, and I want to help you, but you've got to drop the ego and be willing to listen and learn a little bit. And this was a person who was a full glass, not willing to listen and learn. And they're in for a rude awakening because, like Shane said, it is not that simple. You've got to know what to ask. And here at Ion, sure, you can leverage a mentor to be able to help you learn how to bob and weave and ask questions, but you've got to do your part. You've got to do the learning. You've got to have an open line of communication, right? Data equals intelligence equals money. The data is your experience, and you've got to record that experience. And we've got to learn from that data to grant us intelligence to make informed decisions and change towards money. And that's the process, not in business loan brokering, in life, period. And so we've got to apply that same approach to what we're doing here. And Shane successfully did that, and that's why he's getting results. So for anybody who's a business loan broker and you're starved of results and you want to learn how to get results, pay close attention here and understand that you're not alone. There are other people just like you, and you can find the way, you can find the path. You just have to reach out. You have to drop the ego. You have to be willing to put yourself in a position to succeed. Right?
And a good way to kind of think about that too is like you think about how people work, because you're not like logically what you were saying makes sense still, right? So like if I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, obviously they're going to underwrite it, they're going to be the ones giving the money, right?
Right.
But like if I'm human, right? The human thing to do is to do the thing with the highest results with the least amount of effort. That's why that's the way human brains are wired. That's why we like sugar. That's why we like video games.
Yeah.
Lowest amount of effort for the highest yield of results, right? But so if I'm on the lending team, I'm saying, what's my least amount of effort to actually, because I get commission on these too. Okay, I can process these way faster and I make more because Jimmy did the work and George sent me trash.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah.
It's about how humans work.
It's so true. You're so right about that, and so a great back and forth here as usual, because this is the topic that I think people really need to pay attention to when it comes to finding results and having success in this space is really understanding that what are you doing with your time? What is your process? What is your mentality? For instance, like on the YouTube channel here, we have playlists. And by far, the videos in the playlist of mindset are the least watched of all the videos that I have. And the reason that they're the least watched is because people don't really care about it, right? They're like, mindset, yeah, be a winner, work hard, don't give up, rah, I'm not interested in it. I want to learn how to do this. I want to learn how to do that. But it's actually their mindset that's preventing them from finding success because they don't, and so it's so important to pay attention to these things. And so, for anybody watching and listening to Shane, you can see he's learned these lessons. He values these different things. He pays attention to these KPIs, right? And he understands this is what I need to focus on to find success, and he has, and that's why he is. And so if you want to, you can do that here at Ion Capital Solutions. So anyway, a great back and forth as usual, Shane. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. To wrap up this call, sort of a plug for the program, right? For anybody watching, in your own words, Shane, do you recommend Ion Capital Solutions? What would you say to somebody who's on the fence about joining?
It's a good place to get good place to learn and then to get like that foundation and mentorship, because like you can't find mentorship for like businesses in general like very easily. You have to go out and find somebody that's actually done it and is willing to devote the time, and then there's a system actually that can help you with that, which is, you know, that's been the biggest benefit for me, is having people to connect with and actually discuss what we're doing.
Absolutely. So you're not in it alone, right? Imagine anybody, you want to be a pirate, right? And you hop on on the boardwalk there, and you're getting ready to set sail. You've never been to sea before. You've never dug up buried treasure before, and there's a pirate sitting right there is offering you two things: a blueprint on how to build a ship and a map to buried treasure. You buy those two things for all the money you have. You have to build a ship, set sail, navigate the ocean, find the island, dig up the buried treasure. Good luck to you. How realistic is it that you're going to be able to do that on your own? Right?
Very
When you
low.
think about it that way, it's
Yeah.
very little, very, very little. But
And
having,
what's nice is you also have leverage, right? So
yeah,
like we were talking about the volume of loan leverage. It's not you, it's you and however many other people are currently putting in loans that month, right? So the lender says, all right, this is all from Ion. Okay, let's take this a higher priority. So maybe you have deals that you can close in 14 days, whereas everybody else closing in 30. So I
right,
know there's like lenders doing fix and flips that take 30 days. There's
right,
also loans that we've gotten it. We got one through in 14 days. I think it was for the last one we did with Ion, and yeah.
yeah,
So
you're right.
if I just went straight up to them on my own, I would have been looking at 30, and I know that,
Yeah, yeah,
and that
it's
wouldn't have flown.
yeah, it's very true. It's a great point. Thank you. And that's real estate, right? Any deal that has a piece of real estate involved and there's an appraisal, that's the time it can take, right? Do you want to take 30 days? You want to take 14 days? Volume, right? The respect of the lender, the time frame. If you want to go an unsecured route, you can fund a client the same week. It just comes down to what you want to do. You can learn about what you can do and how that all works here at Ion. You can leverage our platform and our expertise and our relationships to be able to expedite the journey. Anyway, for anybody wandering around in the dark, for anybody out there navigating the ocean lost at sea, trying to figure out how to make this thing work, reach out to us. We can expedite the process. We can work alongside you to make sure you get results just like Shane did. Shane, thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate it. Excited for you to get started and becoming now a team leader and becoming a mentor yourself, having your own team and learning now the next part, which is a sales team driving results, understanding how to close, how to handle large volume of submissions. You're now regularly speaking with lenders, and that's about to go on a lot more often. So anyway, we'll check back with you and see how that's going. But Shane, thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it.
Awesome.
Terrific. All right, everybody watching, thank you so much. Do me a favor, hit that like button, really helps out the channel. Please, if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date on all the new content we release. We release new content daily. With that being said, thank you so much. We'll catch you in the next video.